in elementary school, I've always been interested in the arts. Being a deaf student and not being able to hear, I realized that art was something that I was really good at and felt confident in. So that was something that stayed with me since I was a child. But once I got into high school and college, my parents were kind of concerned about what am I going to do for a living when I, get out of school or whatever. And so my mother used to make me take typing classes, but I was a terrible typist, so I insisted on continuing to take art classes in college. And I took a craft class the first year in junior college, and I just fell in love with it because I not only loved art, but I didn't know that you could make functional objects that were creative as well. So that to me was really like, oh wow, I can make artistic things that could be used. And eventually I took a wood class. It was kind of an epiphany for me that I could be a woodworker. So I did my first wood project, and man, I was like, wow, what could be so difficult for a woman to work in? How could that be so difficult? All you have to do is push the button for the machine and it comes out. But anyway, so I was really intrigued with the idea of making one-of-a-kind furniture, and that was my beginning as a craft person. I loved so much, and I had to really learn how to do really well in that field. So anyway, that was it was like a do or die situation when I was in college. One of my first mentors was Arlene Fish, who is also a Gold Fellow from many years ago from the American Craft Council. She was my teacher back in the 70s, and she was such an incredible role model. Even though she was not a woodworker, she was a jeweler, and she encouraged me to take workshops with the American Craft Council. She also encouraged me to study back east and to take part in workshops in schools like Penland and Haystack, and she was just making it as a single woman artist for many, many years, and I decided that I wanted to be like that. A lot of my work has been informed by my immediate environment. I would say that I have a piece from every location that I've been to that has really meant a lot to me, because in a way, this work becomes a little bit like an autobiographical piece. So when I look at the piece, I say, oh yeah, that was when I spent 3 months in England as a Fulbright scholar, and I made that piece because we went to a museum of arts and crafts furniture, and they actually let us touch the pieces, which is really kind of unheard of for museums. Oh gosh, I love using color because, first of all, with woodworking, there's not a whole lot of options. You got light brown, medium brown, dark brown, maybe purple, maybe yellow, but that's about it. And I think the very fact that it was once taboo to paint wood made you want to do it even more. I mean, I remember in the 70s, a lot of people were up in arms against people who were painting the wood. And now when you think about it, it sounds so silly, but that's the way it was back then, you know. I'm very much influenced by where I am at the moment. If I'm in a dark place, I'm gonna do dark work. If I'm doing pretty well, I'm gonna do more animated bright colors. In doing the work about the Japanese American incarceration camps, I think that was a big move for me in many ways. And it wasn't very hard to imagine myself in that time period because my parents and grandparents went through that themselves. The executive order 906 work's main component was the recreation of identification tags that were made for each person that was forced into camp in 1942. So that meant remaking 120,000 tags with individual names and numbers that were assigned to each individual. And in order to accomplish that, I had to set up volunteer stations to have people come and help fill out some of the tasks. When the show opened, of course, the community all came to the opening, and immediately they started looking at all the tags and trying to find their family members, and many people found names of their mothers and fathers and grandparents, and it was kind of amazing. It was just like visiting the gravesite. So maybe just having a visitation from these people who are long gone suddenly appear before their head, before their eyes. So that was probably what you might call somewhat a profound moment in terms of shifting gears and revisiting a topic that's not very easy to address. And perhaps that gave me the strength to move from that topic to the wildlife topic, which is also very dear and important to me as far as animal conservancy goes. Back when my aunt went into memory care for Alzheimer's, I did a lot of work that was based on memory and the loss of it, and kind of just using color black. Black is so deep, it's kind of like looking into a horror kind of, but it's also, if it's very polished, it can be a reflection. And so I also remember reading about the Japanese geishas. They used to use black lacquered mirrors as they age because it didn't show the wrinkles on their faces as much. And so I think I'm gonna start putting black lacquered mirrors all over my house so I won't see so many wrinkles. I thought that was a pretty cool idea, but I also thought that was a great way to kind of illustrate the issues of aging and memory loss. And I guess, when you get to my age, those are the kind of things that one thinks about. For about 5 or 6 years, I had been doing a lot of social advocacy work. I'm moving away from out of that serious, heavy work and doing what I would call really simple, pretty, decorative things, going back to making more furniture like pieces